Morning breaks on March the 26th, 2022. This afternoon, high-flying Wrexham will face bottom team Dover Athletic. It's just another day in the Vanarama National League. But this has been a year like no other for Wrexham.
Our new manager of Wrexham AFC, Phil Parkinson.
What an exciting project to be part of.
Frantic, and he's in the park. Mullen makes a surging one on this left-hand side. He's just the goalkeeper. Oh, what a goal! What a goal from Paul Mullen! In onto his favourite left foot.
He's a special player, isn't he?
Skip plus one, gets the shot in back of Linden. To Reesol Johnson. It's not the right moment for the Orange this take. It was his way to the box. Tozer! And Wrexham have scored in the 89th minute! Wrexham have miles for Wembley!
And this will be a day like no other.
It's mad. You'll probably never see a game like that. I'll probably never ever be involved in a game like that again.
You're just like, what on earth's happening?
But at the end of the day, to do what we did the other day was absolutely manic.
I didn't have no sleep at all that night. 4 or 5 hours looking at Twitter and trying to find all the goals on there and everything like that and seeing all the comments. And there was thousands.
It's a game I will never forget. It's good because it was the first game that I've been to with my dad in a long time, and I think that was the perfect game to go to, in all fairness. It was brilliant.
Under the bar, this time flicked on! Yes! 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 Just in case you haven't realised, Wrexham have scored!
Like, I'm usually fairly good. I've seen the AAA about 5 times. I've seen the highlights 2 or 3 times. I've seen all the clips on Twitter, and just somehow it's still like it's just the whole day such a blur.
If you would have written it into a script, people would have gone, "It's ridiculous, I'll change it." He was incredible. Dover were already relegated, so from a Wrexham point of view, we were second from top. I think it was looking like a fairly simple home win for Wrexham. I think most people expected a fairly simple home win.
The most crazy game in the 40 plus years history of the football conference, and in terms of betting, just one of the most bizarre sets of figures that I could ever come across. It just defies all belief.
Wrexham versus Dover. One of the craziest games I've ever had to cover working for the media team, and the craziest game I've ever had to see. So it was one of the hardest jobs I've done, because I worked for them, doing the match centre, so doing the text updates, and I'm not the fastest of typers. I'm not, let's just say I'm not the most articulate with my writing, really. So it was a challenge in itself, just doing that job.
Headingley 1981's got nothing on it, has it?
Well, I mean, even then, people were sort of favouring the outcome that England might sneak it at the end, and you weren't looking at the kind of figures that I've got in front of me here. So, yeah, quite amazing.
Top of the league, bottom of the league, a team that's, whatever team you play, you treat it exactly the same. Look, don't get me wrong, there's always going to be there shouldn't be, but there's always going to be a slight mentality change between who you play, because you're going to be up for the teams at the top of the league, and not say you're not up for the ones when you play at the bottom, but because they're at the bottom, it's like you almost kind of go into it a little bit easy-ozy, where football's never like that.
Yeah.
And Saturday was a prime example of that. You cannot take your foot off the gas, can you? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as you do, whether you're playing a team that's at the bottom of the league that's already relegated, they're playing with no fear, whereas they've got nothing to lose and we've got everything to lose.
There's nothing, like I said, there's nothing better than going to an away ground like Wrexham, who should be in a football league, and playing in front of 10,000. You know, it's magnificent. We're just trying to get out of minus points. That no one wants to finish on minus 4. So we've got to do all we can to frustrate other teams. And people probably turn up thinking, "Oh, we're playing Dover today," so their mentality is probably not really into the game. Okay, yes, they want to win the game, but they probably think maybe we're a bit of a pushover sometimes, and this will be an easy win today. They're on minus 4, but I think we change opinions once teams have played us. We've only had Grimsby and where we lost. I think they lost 6-0 at the start of the year when I went there, and Barnet the other week, which was just a poor performance. You know.
I think we're all trying to take every game as it comes, but I mean, in the back of everyone's head, it's kind of like, okay, we've beat the likes of Halifax the week before. We beat Notts County in the cup. We beat Boreham Wood, and you know they're big games, aren't they? They're clubs that are around us in the table. And then you look at Dover, relegated already, and we're thinking, okay, let's not slip up here. 3 points is huge. Every game, 3 points is massive, but there's always that kind of thought in the back of your mind, isn't there? Like, and let's be honest, everyone ups their game against Wrexham. Everyone in the league wants to beat us. But I think we all know in the dressing room that we should be getting 3 points against the likes of Dover. So I think it's just going about what we're doing, trying to get the job done.
But in fairness, we went to Halifax. Halifax fans clapped us off the pitch. Everywhere we've been, teams have sort of respected us still, you know. They've respected that we're not going down without a fight. We've still got to respect the league, and whatever the situation is, there's nothing we can do about that situation. We are where we are. We got put in a situation after a pandemic, you know, so we've carried on fighting, and we're just enjoying it, you know.
Dover to score 5 in that game would have been something like 25,000 to 1 if you extrapolate the odds of how they started the game at 28 to 1. They've gone to a short enough price that make Wrexham 200 to 1 in the game, and then Wrexham to turn it around in injury time is still a huge price. And 11 goals in the game would have been something like 40,000, something like that, to 1.
Like I said, we have nothing to lose. We was down the week before. It got confirmed. So it was like, why should we just sit in and just defend all the time? You know, let's just go and express ourselves and play with a bit of freedom. Our 3 young centre mids, you know, 16, 17 and 18. Like, I'm being quite vocal on that situation, that it's very rare that you get a 16-year-old mate performing at that level. So it's a credit to the football club, that the fact that they can use these players and they can stand up against teams like Wrexham, because look, you just can't compete with this league anymore for teams at the bottom end. There's such a big gap in terms of financially. Obviously, you've got yourselves and you've got your Notts Counties. Halifax has probably got the lowest budget in the top half, probably, but you just can't compete. So you have to just go with what you've got and not hope for the best, but you know, if you're good enough, why shouldn't you play?
Saturday, speechless, really.
So our day started a little bit differently from usual. It was my dad's 50th birthday. It was his 50th birthday party later on that day, and I think before the game had even started, you know, usually we go to the pub and maybe have 1 or 2 pints, or even if we were just going to eat out, maybe not even drink, just sort of soak up the atmosphere in town. But myself and my mum met up a bit later than usual, went to the Myers Gwyn just to sort of go, it's a nice day. It's one of the few pubs, isn't it, in town that have got an outdoor area. Went for a pint there, and it was buzzing. I think sometimes you think that the weather before a game really dictates the mood, doesn't it? And people were really in quite good spirits because it was sunny. Everyone's got the Wrexham tops out, and it felt a little bit weird beforehand. I don't know, maybe it's because, you know, we'd spoken about it on either off camera or on camera before, dragging out about how and you mentioned it in your commentary, Mark, about being nervous, and there was just something about that game beforehand. I don't know, maybe you'd put that seed of doubt in my head a little bit beforehand, but it was something that, you know, these teams, these games, that there's something really dangerous about a team that are either going to be relegated or are already relegated. The pressure's completely off, but I think because I was thinking more about the party later, I was almost even sort of forgotten the game was on. It's like, oh, we played so well on Tuesday, we're going to win today. It's more a case of how much are we going to win by. I was more nervous that it might be 1-0 and it was going to look a bit tasty all day rather than it necessarily being what ended up happening.
We're 6 hours behind, so normally like 9 o'clock in the morning is a 3 o'clock kickoff, obviously your time, but our clocks changed a little bit earlier. So we were actually 5 hours, so I think it was like 10 o'clock it kicked off.
So I was planning my week ahead, and I got to Friday and I was thinking, right, I need to go to bed early because it's a 4 o'clock kickoff. What I'll do is I'll sleep in the other bedroom so I don't kick my wife or shout or anything like that. So I put my alarm on in the morning. That I think it was quarter 4, and my alarm come on, and then I was tuning into you guys, and I could hear you guys talking in the background before it actually come on. I thought, right, we're ready. I'll put my headphones on so I'm not disturbing my wife. Shut the door, everything's dark. I'll just listen to it, and I concentrate and I listen and I close my eyes and I imagine with your commentary what's happening on the field, and I try and look at the race course and, you know, monitor where it's going and what's happening.
So we listen to it as normal, you know. Obviously, I coach over here, so I can't get to listen to all the games, but I've always got it on my phone, or I'm always getting pings through if there's goals and stuff. If I was coaching and there was pings and I wasn't listening to the game and my phone would have been pinging, I would have been like, what the heck is going on here? All these different goals.
But yeah, I was doing an alien job to me, so it wasn't on the commentary. So it was something a little bit different for myself. Here I was typing away, doing the updates. 2 goals up relatively early was what I was expecting. I was like, here we go, I'm going to cruise through this. It's going to be 3-4-0. Like I thought we'll just relax into the game. The defence will turn itself on. We'll smash it now.
My remit was to write a piece initially about Wrexham, about being taken over, about the kind of glory days coming back, and about how this club, this seemingly moribund club, were on the way up again. And it seemed to be, too, a very happy coincidence that they were playing Dover, a team who are already relegated, of course, who have got into all sorts of financial troubles. And it was 2 opposites. And the National League, I think, is a league of opposites. And it just seemed very serendipitous that Dover were playing at that time. Now, I was excited because I hadn't been to Wrexham, hadn't been to the ground for 24 years. So I was delighted to go. And in 20 odd years of reporting on football, I'd never reported from the racecourse either. So for me, it was a great experience. I was very much looking forward to it. And it seemed to me to be quite a straightforward thing. I could speak to Wrexham's very lovely chief executive. I spoke to some fans outside, and I remember stood outside, one of them just saying, you know, they've got nothing to lose, Dover. They've got nothing to play for. So they'll either just roll over, or they'll play with a freedom that they've never, ever been able to have before. Now they're actually relegated. And I don't know. I took my place in the press box. I could hardly see because the sun was right in my eyes, absolutely, virtually blinded. I had sunglasses, ordinary glasses, just the eyes, and still I was sort of looking out like Popeye all the time trying to see what happened. And I was trying to piece this article that I was going to write, which had a 6 o'clock deadline, and there wasn't going to be much match report in it. I was going to contrast the 2 teams, say what I'd spoken to about Fleur Robinson, the chief executive, with, and there would be a bit of match on the side, as it were. Yeah. And of course, Wrexham 2-0 up after 20 odd minutes. Everything going as I had planned it. I remember thinking about that, the fan that I'm talking to, going, you'd no idea, not like me. Not like me, I knew, and off I went, virtually not bothering to watch the match because I was writing the piece, not through terrible neglect, I must stress, but I got a slightly different agenda.
In recent weeks, we've had a succession of massive home games against teams who are promotion rivals, must-win games, if you wish, and I've not been nervous about them. Everyone else has been, and I haven't been. I've been looking at them and thinking, but we are empirically a good team. We're clearly League One standard, and there's nothing to fear in the other sides from our division.
As well as, majority of all the fans in the ground thought it would be an easy game. Dover had nothing to play for. They're already relegated, but as my co-commentators were a bit nervous as well, and they doubted that it would be such an easy win.
It's Wrexham against Dover Athletic, and it'll all be brought to you live here from the racecourse on Wrexham Player. So, well, I mean, on paper, this is the nicest game Wrexham can have. We're on fire. We've won, 9 out of 10. Dover are already relegated. They are still on -4 points. They've only won one game all season. I've got to be honest, before I go on to the teams, spoiler alert, no changes. Before I go on to it, Neil, Andy, I have a confession to make. I am much more nervous about this than I was about the Boreham Wood and Halifax games. I felt genuine confidence going into those games because I think we're a really good team who ought to beat sides that are up at the top end of our table. But I feel genuinely nervous today because Dover are a bad team, but they don't get thrashed. They tend to be competitive in their games and then lose them. If we drop points in this match, I am not coming down from behind the sofa for a week, and I'm not joking.
I don't blame you, to be fair.
I did have the old misgivings before the Dover match. Whether that was because I just felt that this was a game that would hurt so much if we didn't win it.
I thought walkover, because they're low down, we're high up, they're getting relegated, and I'm just thinking, what are they playing for? It's going to be easy. It turns out, it was nearly a walkover for them.
To get ourselves into this fabulous position where if we keep winning we could actually catch Stockport and then blow it against Dover, well, that would be utterly catastrophic, and because of that I felt unusually nervous before the match.
Before the game, I was supremely confident. I thought we were definitely win this. I thought we would win this 3-4-0, to be fair. If you listen to me on Dragon Eye, if you listen to me on anything really, if you just talk to me on the street, I'm not a positive football fan. I'm quite a negative football fan in many ways. I'm a bit of a pessimist because maybe that's if I think negatively, it sort of it prepares me if the worst does happen rather than getting over positive and then getting smashed down if we do lose. But yeah, I was talking to Mark Griffiths before the game and I was thinking, yeah, I think we're going to win today, and Mark was a bit nervous, which was very unlike him, to be fair.
This is a different Wrexham team to what we've been used to, where they've been slipping up on banana skins. The team, yes, it's potential. I think I was more nervous on Tuesday night when we were playing Halifax because I thought it'd be a far more competitive, tight game than it was. At the end, Wrexham ran out worthy 3-1 winners and could have been 5-6, 6-1. And I think if we play like we did on Tuesday, Dover haven't got a chance of scoring anything against us, and it could be 4, 5, 6, 7 goals. If we take the upper hand very early on and put our game onto Dover, then I think it'll be a comfortable win. I'd be happy with a 1-0 win, 3 points to 3 points.
Oh, I just feel a bit edgy. I want to see the first goal go in, There's going to be a hell of an atmosphere, although there's not many Dover fans. In fact, there's a picture on Wrexham's Twitter worth looking at of 2 Dover fans. We've given them a free pie each to reward them for travelling all the way.
I did see one of them outside.
Well, Che beforehand said fair play to Dover. There's a couple of them in the turf already. And I said that might be the entire Dover support, and well, fair play to them for turning up, I've got to say. We are ready to go. Wrexham against Dover Athletic here at a muggy racecourse. Lovely to be sunny. We're in our shirt sleeves. Well, Andy and I are. Neil's not taking any chances as Wrexham kick off towards the Cop. Tozer with the diagonal too high, throwing to Dover. Palmer immediately flattens Pavey. He looks up at the palm of his hand like there was dog muck on the side of the pitch. I assume there isn't.
Straight from kick-off, me and my dad were talking and we thought it was going to be a goal fest. not quite what we had in mind.
Wrexham have to get into a deep defensive block here as it dinked down the line by Collins. You want a return pass from Pavey. Clever tackles him, throw 20 yards out right hand side to Dover. The target man Pavey at the moment seems to, well, last 5 minutes, been on the right of the front three, interestingly. Are they trying to target Clever? Lots of teams seem to try and do that. None of them have actually successfully discomfited him yet. He's been terrific for us this season.
Yeah, so it was something different for myself, playing out wide of a free. You know, I've never really, it's not my game, you know. So it was something we looked at in training during the week. Obviously, everybody does their analysis on their teams, and without sounding disrespectful, your left-sided centre of the three is quite young.
Yeah.
And the way I play, I'm quite aggressive and quite dominant in the air. So we felt like if I played on the younger side, maybe I could get the best of him. And then with Michael through the middle with his pace, Tozer is it, centre off. We felt like just getting balls down the side of him, we might be able to affect the game, and look, it worked.
Anyway, here comes Young now with the corner. You've got Palmer lurking at the far post. It's floated beyond there and headed down by Tozer. Hayden takes it on the chest and it bounces away from him. He hooks a shot in though. Great save! Yes! Yes! Another Mullen special. But this time, probably the easiest goal he'll score this career. And Dover have really got to look at themselves over that. They allowed Hayden space after he took it on the chest and bounced up in the air. He hooked it in. The keeper made a great save low to his left. And Mullen was just standing there in front of an open goal to tap it in. Well, I told you that we'd be starting well, didn't I?
Yes, Mark, you did. I remember it well at the start. It was a good goal from Mullen. He took his chance well. But to be fair, Dover were pretty hopeless in defence. Hayden shouldn't be able to sort of control it and then play it without being tackled. Too much time for Wrexham to go forward. But hey-oh, it's a Wrexham goal. That's what we want.
Yeah, I can live with this, I've got to say.
That settled your nerves a little bit now, Mark, is it?
I bet. It's only 1-0.
So the first goal went in, and I thought, right, 7 minutes in, I'm a happy chappy, because I was worried like you were when you said in the beginning you're worried about the start of the game and you're worried about that particular game because it's a banana skin, you know? And I'm being experienced Wrexham fan. I was thinking in the back of my mind, yes, you are very, very right. And all these new fans are going to think if we fail today, they're going to leave and they're going to hate Wrexham, and because it's a new experience for some people.
Yeah.
So the first goal went in, so it was like a relief. I sent a tweet or whatever saying, thank God for that, or something like that.
Palmer's been pulled all over the place. Ref doesn't give the foul. I think to be fair to the ref, it was a cute bit of pulling the shirt on the ref's blind side, and the linesman was on the wrong side to help him. Ooh, wild tackle by Wilkinson, and Jones just skips past him. Ref saw that, plays advantage. Jones plays a lovely one too with Palmer. Mullen long range shots, just wide. Keeper was diving for it, but just wide at the right post and a good 25 yards out.
So I'm now starting to feel more comfortable. I think the second goal by us, well, maybe just tapped in a bit to my superstitious side, and I'm not very superstitious, but we'd been joking the week before about a video I made when I put a fake Brazilian goal celebration on a Wrexham goal. There'd been comments on Ask Wrexham during the Dover match, and then Neil Williams popped the question.
Mark in New Zealand, sorry mate, I started reading this before. Good morning, just coming up to the 4 a.m. kick-off time. Looking forward to this game since Tuesday. COVID's gradually going. I'm glad to hear that, because you're stricken by that. Come on, the town. Looking forward to hearing the commentary and screaming goal. We've done it once. I didn't really scream, did I?
You've been saying, Mark, you're going to be doing this goal thing. Last week you said.
Well, you want the whole Brazilian goal?
No, you're going to do that Brazilian one. Yeah.
You want that?
Yep.
I'll think about it.
When we got the second goal, I went full on Brazilian celebration, and I really wish I hadn't. If I'm perfectly honest, that was, well, actually it was disrespectful. That really, I didn't mean it that way, but let's be honest, I was basically saying Dover aren't coming back from this. We've won this. Let's showboat. Let's laugh at how easy this is. I didn't mean it consciously, but looking back, that is what I was doing. And secondly, like I said, I don't think I'm superstitious particularly, but boy oh boy, Was I tempting fate? And fate came up and punched me in the teeth.
As Davis lays a lovely little flick, Hull Johnson bursts in the box, brilliant recovering tackle by Judd. Hull Johnson gets a loose ball, swings in the cross, and it's headed away crucially as Mullen was lurking 6 yards out. Ball cleared to Young, who helps it on. Davis helps it down nicely. Here's a chance now, running in the box. Yes! Goal! Wrexham 2-0 up. Neil, that was for you.
That was brilliant, Mark. Thank you.
It dropped loose and a lovely, calm left foot finish, slotting it past the goalkeeper. And I am genuinely stalling because I didn't see who scored it.
James Jones, I think it was.
He's on fire, isn't he, James Jones? It certainly was. Very cool finish by Jones.
Defensively, they were awful. Like the second goal, James Jones just literally walks through and just taps it in the net, doesn't he?
It's not usually where everyone is up on their feet and the whole stadium's, everyone together singing and chanting. It was great.
And then the second one went in, I was like, right, this is easy. We can just roll them over now and just take our time.
So it's almost like you don't need to speak about those first two goals because it was so expected. And when they went in, it was just like, oh yeah, nice one, job done.
I think most people were sitting back and thinking, this is it. This is what we expected. People were talking about 6-0 to Wrexham and such likes. And that was what everybody was really thinking of. I wasn't quite sure about 6-0. I thought we'd just take the foot off the gas a bit and just play the ball around and use the subs and just enjoy the afternoon. I don't think anybody saw what came next.
Doesn't matter whether you're top and the other team are bottom. It's 11v11 at the end of the day, and maybe a little bit of complacency came into the game. Worst thing that probably could have happened was to go 2-0 up so early.
Then all I heard is went quiet. He went, oh, goal. And it was that superb goal by that young guy of theirs, went in the top corner. And I was like, all right. And I could hear everybody clapping. So I thought, all right, then I'll give him that one because it was a goal, And then the next one went in. And I'm like, okay. I started to go a bit quiet now, And I'm lying there thinking, oh no, this is the banana skin that's going to happen.
It'd be nice to have a bit of a showpiece result, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, Dover, to be fair to them, are coming at us again. Collins with a throw, leveled the edge of the area. He signals with his left hand, steps up, slings it into the edge 6-yard box. Nastily only headed partly clear, and Hull Johnson on the stretch scoops to the edge of the area. Wilkinson launches it in. What a goal! Unbelievable goal by Wilkinson. Oh, and the Wrexham fans are all applauding that, which maybe shows that we think this game is not that challenging. But poor Christian Dibble doesn't get a clean sheet because of an absolute worldie. It came back out to Wilkinson. He caught it on the stretch on his right foot into the top left corner. That was a hell of a goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a great shot and a great goal by Wilkinson. I don't believe Dibble had a chance. But I would question is the Wrexham defending up until that. I thought it was purely dreadful.
That's 2 worldies Paul Dibble has conceded in a week now after that great strike by Halifax. Here's Gayassi now trying to burst between Clemens and Tozer. He's got there. He's been forced away from goal now by Tozer and Young, but he's helped it in neatly. This is not pretty by Wrexham, and Phil Parkinson will have words about this. Collins sweeps in the cross. Pavey back to goal, turns, hits it, good block by Dover, hits it again, good block by Hayden. Dover are getting at this, and the crowd are no longer charitable. Ball slung back in again, easy for Dibble to take. Well,
it's game on again now a bit, I think.
Beautiful goal, like really, really beautiful goal. There'll be a lot of teams who've got their eyes on him after that.
That goal is the best goal I think I've ever seen live. That volley.
Firstly, obviously, it's nice for people to recognise that we're still working hard and we're not going down with, okay, yes, we're down, but without a fight as such, there's no point just crumbling and just sacking a league off in a way. People have still got contracts to play for and futures to play for. So we've got nothing to lose. That was what we were saying all week. What have we got to lose? I think we went to Stockport and we sort of sat in and said, go on and come and break us down. And I think maybe Wrexham thought we would do that against them. I thought we'd just sit in and say, go on and just try and break us down. We'll try and counter-attack you as such. But it was a whole different game plan. We was like, well, we've got to lose. We're down. Let's just play with a bit of freedom and let's just put them go on the front foot. Obviously, the first 10 minutes wasn't great because we was 2-0 down straight away. So we thought, oh, this might be a long afternoon. But I think once we got the goal back, it sort of gave us a kick. And we thought, you know what? We keep applying this pressure, then we might have a chance here.
Then a cracking goal. What a volley. Dibble, no chance. Everyone was, I remember everyone was clapping. I was clapping, me and my dad were clapping. You have to respect those type of goals, especially from a side where you don't normally expect that. So we thought, fair play, it's not going to happen again. Little do we know, a couple minutes later, the equaliser, and then just all went downhill from there.
He was so determined to score before he turns 18, and he said in the morning, I'm going to score today, but no one would have thought that he would have scored a goal like that. And
there was a sort of like an applause from Wrexham fans, which I thought, was good natured, nice, but I also found it a little bit condescending. I thought it was going to bite us, to be fair. I thought, it's a little bit condescending. Yeah, that's the word. It was a little bit smug as well, like, oh, look, a little Dover have come here and scored a goal sort of thing. But it was nice at the same time. I clapped the goal as well, so I was being one of them.
It was like, yeah, well done. Yeah, you've scored. Brilliant. Lovely Dover, and we're going to smash you 8-1. Yeah. Then they score again, and it's like, well, what we've done here, Wrexham, we've shifted it from third gear down into first gear. We need to get back on this now, which is what I'm pretty sure Phil Parkinson would have been saying at half time. He would have been going absolutely mad.
And there was just a shift in the atmosphere, I think. To clap the opposition like that, unintentionally, we've given them a massive boost. It's an odd situation because the goal deserved clapping. It was hell of a goal, but you've given them that opportunity to build on something. Then
the applause. That the only one I remember. I'm sure it's happened in between, but do you remember when the Brazilian Ronaldo scored a hat-trick at Old Trafford in the Champions League? Yeah. And the whole of Old Trafford applauded it. Yeah. This was better than what Ronaldo. That goal was absolutely incredible. If you watch, I was watching the replay of it. He shuffles his feet over to be perfectly under the ball and then smashes it. And the speed it hits the net, I'd like somebody to analyse that, because it's the ones that they wheel out for, like Paul Scholes and whatnot, who like these sort of volley masters that score 6 or 7 in their career. That's as good as anything Paul Scholes has ever done. That goal that lad scored.
Good ball down the right channel for Mullen, leading into Goodman in the box. He waits for support. He allows it to be taken over by Palmer. Jones across the face. Open goal miss. Davis can't believe it. An open goal from a yard out. He hit the bar. Jones now nodding it to Hall Johnson. I don't think Davis realised that it arrived till it hit his foot, to be honest. But amazing, I didn't go. Here's Davis now trying to make amends. Drills it. Oh, just wide. Did the keeper touch that? No. Well, Davis can't believe it. That was as easy a chance as you get, except it was going so fast. It just sort of hit him, hit the bar, but he was about a yard out of play.
Yeah. That's one of the easiest goals you'd score.
And there was a chance later on. Every chance we seemed to lead to goal. I remember the ball coming in to Jordan Davis. It was harder to miss than to score. And he's hit the bar and everyone's up on their feet thinking it's gone in, just to find out, pinged off the bar, gone out.
But then, I was typing away. I thought Dover were actually really getting their foot into the game here, and it was a bit worrying. And actually having to log what you think in a game like this was pretty. Log what was going on in a game like this was pretty crazy, really, because Jordan Davis also missed an opportunity to make it 3-1, which I think would have buried the game away. So it just made this real Hollywood style thriller.
My gut was starting to feel a bit nauseous at that point.
think the crowd seemed a little bit distracted at first. There was a little bit of like, again, I think maybe everyone was feeling similar. It was nice. It was like, oh come on, when can we get home to get the barbecue started? Let's really do these in and get home, sort of thing. And it when the first 2 goals went in, that kind of happened, and the atmosphere went dull. And you know, to have 2 goals go in and miss a third chance like Jordan did, and people just be like, oh well, oh never mind, oh he's at the bar, or you know, in years previous, even if we were cruising, people would be going apoplectic, wouldn't they, after that third chance? Because I think in years gone by, when the atmosphere has not been quite as fun as it is at the moment, you'd have seen that as an opportunity to kill the game off, and it would have always been like, oh yeah, we're going to lose now. We've not scored that goal. But the atmosphere is so good at the racecourse at the moment, I don't think that happened.
But Dover seem to have the better possession. I don't know what the possession stats are, but I suspect Dover have had more of the ball than Wrexham.
Absolutely. It's an in-swinger. Swept with pace into the goal mouth, 2-all. Wow. There's no applause for that goal. Pavey it was, from close range. It was a terrific delivery from the left-hand side, right into the goal mouth. Dibble couldn't come for it, and it was headed then to simply by Pavey. My goodness, we have got a game on our hands here.
I think Wrexham players had just gone to get some more sun cream. They certainly looked like they were on the beach for that corner.
That was, well, it was 2 very poorly defended set pieces by Wrexham, and wow, it's a heck of a game. Wilkinson ripped in a great corner, it must be said, with real pace under the bar.
You can look at there's so many different variables, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Like, we put in some shift on Tuesday night, and it's shown in the intensity that we played and the football that we played, the closing down and pressing, and that wasn't anywhere near it, especially in the first half. We went 2-0 up and was in cruise control, and you almost kind of take your foot off the gas a little bit, and they score a worldie, to be fair, and then they score from a set play, and you think, Christ, we're in for a game here.
And when the second goal goes in, the atmosphere suddenly really turns, doesn't it? You know, and it's a funny situation, because that goal, you know, a team like ours shouldn't have been letting that goal in, and we should have been really angry. But I think even though the atmosphere turned, it didn't turn to be angry. It just sort of was it was disbelief. People were looking around and saying, "What on earth has just happened there?" They've gotten 2 fairly quick-fire goals. We've been dominating the first 20 odd minutes, and suddenly the worst team in the league just got 2 past us. Oh well, come out after half-time and things will be different. I know they were different, but they were different in Dover's favour, weren't they? And
I mean, even on the bench, I think, you know, it was a sunny day. Me and the lads are sat on the bench, and we're 2-0 up at that point, and we're thinking, oh, okay, you know, we might be coming on here because we're 2-0 up. The gaffer might rest players in time for the big cup game this week to try and get to Wembley and stuff. So he might rest players because we're 2-0 up. We're cruising, as to say, and it didn't look like they were going to cause us any problems. Like, it looked like we were going to go on and score more at one point. And then Jordan had his chance, could have made it 3-0, but that one didn't go in. And then out of nowhere, like you said, the kids just hit a volley from 30 yards.
Yeah.
I don't think he could have caught it better if he tried. I think you could have given him 100 goes on that, and one would have gone in like that. I don't think there's anything Dibs could have done. I mean, genuinely, probably apart from Luke Summerfield's goal against Woking, was the best goal I've seen at the racecourse in person. And it was just a shame it was scored by a bloody Dover player, wasn't it? But I think, it was a moment of class from the kid, to be fair. I mean, the applause was justified.
Yeah.
But then, even then, like, we were sat on the bench and we were thinking, like, we were looking at each other thinking, you know, could this... It kind of swung. I mean, after that, it kind of swung a little bit. Like, the momentum massively swung. Even straight after, like 2 minutes after, and they went on the break again, and we thought, hold on a minute, like, this could quickly change, because I mean, they have some good attacking outlets, like they have some good attacking players, but I didn't see I don't think anyone could have, seen what was going to happen, or tell what was going to happen at that point.
Listen, after we got the first one, it was sort of a lift, and then I got the equaliser, so it was sort of like, do you know what? we've actually we've got a chance here. Let's just keep going. I think, and the place sort of went a bit quiet. And when you're at the top, fans not turn on them, but fans seem to start getting frustrated as well. And when you've got 8,000-9,000 there, you feel it as a team. So to us, we could sense that pressure from the fans. So it was like, let's just keep going, let's keep going. And then before we know it, we're in at half time at 2-2. And before the game, someone said, right, 2-2 at half time, we would have taken that. So because it's something to regroup and build on for the second half.
Well, first of all, let's be honest. The fundamentals of defending, doing the right things in all areas of the pitch weren't in place, and hence we conceded some poor goals.
I think we need to be trying to put the ball back in their box, because they haven't defended that well when we put them under pressure. Here's Young now, driving through the middle. Davis made a great run, but Young doesn't play the ball. He's carried on, beats his man. Left channel, edge of the area, finds McFadden, 3 men in the box to aim for. Threads a nice ball. Davis now takes his man on, pulls it wide from 15 yards. Nice idea, shifted it from outside his left foot well, but then he pulled the shot. It was a shame, that.
Like I say, on another day, they probably don't score 5 and we win that game 6-0, and you think that's football in a nutshell. They've got nothing to lose, so they might as well go and try and experiment and chuck a few players forward, see how it happens, experiment a little bit, and they play with freedom. Yeah. Not that saying that we don't play with freedom, but we've got that added little bit of pressure of we certainly can't drop points against a team that's already relegated if we want to achieve promotion. Do you know what I mean?
Moses will stand it up to the far post, straight onto Clever's heads. Palmer challenging for the loose ball. It bounces off into Baptista. They get into all the second ball's long range shot, just wide at the left post. It was a good hit there from about 25 yards, and Dibble was lunging after it.
When we played Folkestone in the FA Trophy, they did exactly the same.
Yeah,
and it is suicidal, but you can see why they can score goals, but then you can also see why they concede goals. And thankfully, we scored 6, one more than what they scored.
Jones now level the edge of the area, right hand side. Hayden in support, Hall Johnson in support. He crosses himself though, headed away by Moses. Davis, edge of the box, brings it down, hits it. Oh, hit Palmer, ricochets back out. Good ball by Baptiste. Pavey on the right has got space now. The diagonal is on. Wrexham don't know whether to step up or not. Pavey plays the diagonal, and now it's Arthurs around the back of defence, left hand side, running at Tozer on his right foot. Hits a great block in front of the keeper. So Ricochet is away. Young again, he's everywhere, isn't he?
Luke Young ran the length of the pitch to make that break.
He is not enjoying what he's in the middle of here, Young, is he? And he's trying his best to try and make a difference. Garci, poor touch now. Young does well, skips beyond him, goes driving through the middle. He's not got much of a clear path, finds Palmer in the centre circle. Brilliant! Beats 3 men with his footwork. He's got options to his right. He uses Mullen as a dummy and finds Hall Johnson. 3 men in a box. Hall Johnson drills it in, and it's sliced just wide of his own goal by Ransom. Orange takes it on his right foot, sets himself, stands up across from deep. Toes are away, but only as far as Arthur's are. Well done, Davis. Nicks it from him. Can Wrexham break? It's a good ball down the left-hand side by James Jones. Mullen running at his man, cuts inside, then goes outside, then inside. Curler is blocked. Corner. Brilliant work by Mullen, and an excellent piece of defending by Ransom. Lots of bodies around the penalty spot. Only Mullen on the keeper. Swept to the far post. Tozer attacking that, hits a defender, and Parks will come out and claim that. And the ref looks at his watch. I don't think he's going to prolong this half much more.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Big kick, and it's half time, and well, a couple of boos. I'd say a couple, to be fair, but that was a bit of a shock for us. First time we've lost a 2-goal lead since February 2021 against Dagenham at the racecourse.
I was working at Blythe, checked my phone at half time, cheeky check, and it was 2-2 with Wrexham. I was like, well, any team can score 2 goals. And I genuinely thought this. It could be a set piece, it could be a wonder goal, like that's fine, we'll win like 3-2, 4-2.
We got in at half time, we regrouped, and it was a good first half. We sussed what else could we do, and it was sort of just keep the same game plan, minimise yourselves with chances. But the thing we've always got against teams like yourself, you've always got your goal scorers in your team. You've always got your Paul Mullins and your Ollie Palmers who can affect the game at any point in the game. And you are a team on the front foot, so we knew at times we'll be defending.
Yeah, I think it's probably the worst performance of the year, especially first half. We were
terrible, to be honest.
As we restart, Dover begin and attacking the Cop end, and immediately McFadden makes sure the ball goes out for a throw-in.
Second half, I'm still trying to recover from it.
Wrexham boxing Dover in, and Arthurs has to just launch a high clearance towards the edge of his own area. Young wins it, but it ricochets off his head for Wilkinson, who hits an early one. That's what they're trying to do. Early diagonals into the gaps behind the wing-backs to the wide strikers who are gambling. Luckily for Wrexham, Tozer does his job well and holds up Gayassi, but Arthurs feeds it back to the halfway line. And they can build again. Arthurs gets it back, 30 yards out, left-hand side, good ball, over the top of Tozer's. Arthurs one-on-one scores! Unbelievable, Wrexham are 3-2 down. Gayassi lifting it over Dibble. This is astonishing. They've only won one game all season. They are leading at the racecourse now in the 51st minute. Lovely scoop ball by Arthurs, and Gayassi one-on-one with Dibble, who was completely exposed, and he just lobbed it cool as you like over him. Well,
I don't know quite what to say, except I suppose I should be saying good goal Dover.
Yeah, it was well worked, but
they know where Wrexham are playing with wing-backs. They're chipping the long diagonals to either the left or the right side, to Arthur and Gayassi, and they're getting in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Wrexham haven't changed it.
So yeah, second half comes in, Dover putting pressure on us. They go 3-2 up with that ball over the top to Gayassi. He dips it over Dibble.
That Gayassi then goes on to run the show, and I'm sure there'll be people who will pinpoint the reasons for why it went wrong. But every goal that was going in, it was just like me and my mum and my mate Ian, who sits with us, we're just looking at each other going, what is going on? What's going on? Third goal goes in. Oh God, this is poor. We've got to pull it back here.
I mean, the fourth goal is the fiasco, isn't it? It's awful. Tozer shouldn't. I love Tozer. He shouldn't have escaped blame for that, though. He should have handled that. He didn't, and Dibble's in a situation where he's got to come and try and do something, and Dibble didn't do that well.
I've tried to block that out of my mind, that one. Oh, God, what a terrible goal.
And he'll take his time again, no doubt. The fans are immediately booing him to point that out. It's a weird atmosphere because the fans just aren't quite sure, I think, how to react. They don't want to boo this team because it's done so well for them. But this is astonishing. Huge kick again by Parks. Tozer has a little touch. He's in trouble here. Dibble, it's going to be 4-2. Dibble punched Tozer. 4-2. And now the anger comes. I've got to say, Tozer should have dealt with that better. Maybe he wasn't sure if Dibble was coming close or not. It seemed to take a touch. Dibble came, punched Tozer, who's down on the floor, and it was tapped into an empty net. Wow, this is
shocking.
Astonishing. Yeah, shocking. Much better words, you're quite right. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. We've let in 4 goals to Dover at home. Wow. Just a big hoof through the middle by the keeper. Tozer should have dealt with it better. Dibble came out and punched him. Tozer's needing treatment, and it's tapped into an empty net, and that is, oh my goodness me, this is beyond belief, this.
Yeah, I think Tozer's in trouble as well. There are more people running to him than just the trainer.
Well, yeah, let's see. We got 3 men out there. Must have beg your pardon, Gemma Bamford's one of those men, if you see what I mean.
And then there was the big mistake between Tozer and Dibble, which, it was 6 of one, half a dozen the other. I think they were both to blame for that. They both should have dealt with it better.
Tozer is up and running to the sides of the pitch. Parkinson's talking to him very assertively, pointing his finger at him. So Wrexham will restart with 10 men. Last time we let in 4 goals at home, Telford, 17th of January 2015. This has come out of nowhere.
But that was a disaster, real embarrassing goal. And we are 4-2 down.
Like Ben Tozer, who's used to dealing with far better players than Gayassi, couldn't handle him at all. He was terrifying him every time. He had the pace to get in behind every single time, and then the finishes were perfect, absolutely perfect, unbelievable. And then I believe some people walked out at that point. I feel for them because what happened after that, just crazy, absolutely crazy. I think as well, it was like the defining thing about that game that I would say is it was a team that had no pressure on them at all because they're already relegated. That was their like day out where they could go and have a game of football. For Wrexham, every minute is hard because we're under pressure all the time. We're expected to beat everybody now in this division, maybe with the exception of Stockport. And their pressing was superb. The quality of what they're passing was superb because there was no pressure on it. It was all just like kids playing in the park. That's what it felt like anyway.
Like you say, they could afford to be bold. I certainly think if they had a chance of staying up, they certainly wouldn't have played like that.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of football, isn't it?
We bring on Danny Jarvis. We take off Max Cleworth. It's the right thing to do because we have got ourselves into a terrible situation, and a draw's not enough in this game. And so Danny Jarvis comes on to offer a bit of quality and be the catalyst for a gamble of our own. And by then you're putting your cape on and thinking, I need to come and rescue these people.
Well, I think, what was that? I've come off the bench a couple of times when we've been losing and stuff, or been involved in a couple of late-minute winners and stuff like that. Been quite lucky, to be fair. For Boreham Wood last year, which was we were 2-0 down and ended up winning 3-2 with a last-minute winner from Reece. The Woolstone game away, quite recently, the last-minute winner from Reece again. Yeah, that, and then the other day as well. I don't know. I think I've got a knack for it.
But I think that the moment it changed was, I spoke about the young lad, no disrespect, but once you took him off and you went to a 4 at the back, it was sort of like, for me, I couldn't cheat anymore. I had to start tracking back, and your fullbacks were pushing on so much that we just ended up getting pinned in our own half. So it just applied so much more pressure.
We just changed to a diamond and then just tinkered around with it a little bit, and in the end, we had enough attacking talent on there to break them down.
I think I said it in the commentary. I just thought we're going to have to put this down to a bad day at the office. Eventually they're going to happen, and just walk away from it. Parkinson didn't get his tactics quite right on the day. But I suppose the opposite to that is when at that 20 minutes, he actually made the change that made the difference. He went to a back 4 and went for it, and he got his just reward.
Frank Davis as Mullen going, plays it first time, great idea. Mullen now driving towards the edge of the area, tight angle. He cuts in on his right foot. Will he hit it? Will he square it? He squares it, and it's missed. Oh, Jones should have scored.
And then there was the through ball to complete his hat trick, a 12-minute hat trick. I thought the game was gone. I was very angry, and it was very hard to concentrate on the job I was doing, to be fair. Just like it was very hard to concentrate on the job I was doing for the whole rest of that half, really, because at one point I was so angry.
Of course, Dover go up and get another. And it's a beautiful move. They again pull us out of shape. Really nice move. And when that 5th one goes in, you actually hear boos from the Wrexham fans. The Wrexham fans were amazing throughout. They, as the goals went in, didn't lose faith. And I'm on the record for saying I hate it when fans boo their own teams. I think it's disrespectful, it's unnecessary, it's uncalled for. But I agreed with the Wrexham fans on this occasion. That was such a massive underperformance. It was such a disaster that the Wrexham fans were totally entitled to express that opinion. It wasn't a majority who did, and in a way, that very fact shows that the supporters were still remarkably behind the team. But there was a sort of stunned silence as well, wasn't there? The crowds were not turning on the team because the team had given them so much over the season. But they weren't able to really rouse themselves and believe for probably the first time this season. It was a striking moment.
Thing is, for me, it's the keeper again, hanging on to it. Mullen looks great. Get the ball to him. He looks good. McFadden scrapping is beaten to it by Baptiste. That's a lovely ball by Arthurs down the right. Again, trouble on the flanks. Cross comes in. Gayassi 5! Hat-trick for Gayassi. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Is this happening? Gayassi with a hat-trick. We have been so outmanoeuvred here.
The thing is, I wish I could say it was luck or skill, but we've just been outplayed.
Yeah.
They've used the ball better. They've just run wild.
Well, I've got to say, and people who've heard me commentating for a while know this, I don't like hearing people booing their own team. Wrexham fans booing, they're right. They are right. This is just appalling. And I don't say that lightly, but what the hell? What's just happened here? I don't like people booing their own team, but the fans had to say something there, I think.
And then, as we know, this most remarkable game suddenly turned on its head. And Dover, team who can't score, could barely string a pass together. They scored 5 goals. This guy, Michael Gayassi, who'd signed for Chelsea as an 11-year-old schoolboy, got a hat-trick in 12 minutes. Dover, 5-2 up. I suddenly thought, not only am I paying attention to this match, as I really was, as opposed to writing the rest of the piece, because my piece was falling apart with each passing minute because the agenda was changing. And I was having to write about Michael Gayassi, the 11-year-old schoolboy who'd signed for Chelsea and whose career clearly had taken something of a downturn. But he was a very clinical finisher. I really liked the look of it.
I couldn't believe it. My jaw was on the ground, my stomach was on the ground. You know, we could never come back from 5-2 down. But we know what Wrexham are like this season. They're resilient. You know, they carry on fighting.
I'm not leaving because I know that something can happen. But the other time I want to leave because it's bottom of the league and we can't be going 5-2 down against them. Come on, bottom of the league. Should be doing better than them.
And then halfway through the second half at Blythe, disgruntled fans there, by the way, because they were awful. This guy goes, Wrexham are losing 5-2 to Dover. They're on minus points and they're beating Wrexham. Ryan Reynolds, Wrexham. And I hear and I go, sorry, what? He goes, yeah, Wrexham winning 5-2. I'm like, and he could tell by my face that I was a Wrexham fan. And he was like, you support Wrexham? Just laughed at me the whole game and put his phone down.
We started the second half okay. And then, like you say, all of a sudden, a mad 15, 20 minutes and you find yourself 5-2 down. It's like, what's going on here? Like, how do you kind of get out of this? And I kind of just said, not like to individually, but I said to everybody, just like, we've just got to regroup, like stick together, regroup, don't concede anymore, like shut up shop a little bit and play with a bit more intensity and a bit more urgency going forward, especially.
When the 5th goal went in, my hands were in my head and I just want to go home at this point.
And they go and get a 5th because the team haven't had the time to sort of gel and they get that really quick goal and you're looking around and everyone's going, this is exactly like the Gateshead game. This is like this is weirder than the Gateshead game, but it's almost not weirder because it's not 7-2 yet. And it almost felt like it could have gone on to be 7-2. It's really hard to articulate exactly how everybody felt in the crowd. People were just looking around at each other, just going, what's going on? My mate's saying, my mate Ian, he's a little bit negative. He's like, this isn't good enough. It's not good enough. You know, we need to be doing better than this. This is poor. Such and such is poor. Such and such is poor. He was calling every defender and every name under the sun. And my mum's just stood there like, what is going on? What's going on?
Me and my dad just looking at each other like, what is the point? People are leaving. And then later on in the game, there's hope.
I believe after I'd got over the initial shock of that 3rd goal in the hat-trick, you're thinking we've got a hell of a long time left.
It was unbelievable. I thought 2-0 up. I was thinking, babe, let's go to the wife and baby, let's go and have a late breakfast, early lunch, because the game could be all over at half-time. Little did I know that, a little while later, we're seeing ourselves 5-2 down and the wife's gone, come on, let's go. And I'm like, just give it. There was something there. I was like, listen, if we could score the next 5 minutes, you never know.
At 5-2, what was I thinking? I was thinking I should have changed some players at the start of the game. We should have freshened the team up because for whatever reason, we were off the pace. But in saying that, the lads came off the bench and were great. And as I've said many times before, Macca and Jarvis in particular, have played a big part so far.
And then the third one went in, and I was like, right, I'm really, I'm actually sweating in bed now. Fourth one in, fifth one went in, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to switch this off. I've had faith in the team.
So then I remember when they're going a bit mad, when the I lose count of the number of goals. I went a bit mad at goal number 3. I went a bit mad at goal number 4, and then goal number 5. I couldn't say anything. I think the whole crowd was just completely stunned by it.
When I first came on and they scored their 5th, I thought, that hasn't gone to plan. Like, I thought I was going to come on and change it a little bit, but yeah, I had a little word with Butts before I was coming on, Lee Butler, the goalkeeper coach. He's like, I don't know what you're going to do here, Giles, to try and get us back in it, but all the best, mate. And yeah, luckily, I think, got my assist. I mean, we've got quality in our squad, a lot of quality. And, if you get people, the right people, the chances and stuff, they will score. And I think the strike force that we've got, like Moles, Palms, Jordan Davis, you give them one chance and they will score. So I think it was only a matter of time before we were going to score goals. We just had to get the chances.
I mean, I got to applaud the crowd for being patient as Wrexham tried long early through. It's a good one. Mullen round the back of the fence, but very isolated, trying to cut in, taking on his man on the goal line. He pulls it into the far post. That's a nice ball. James Jones in space, takes a touch, drills it back in. That's a goal. Wrexham pull one back. And Palmer, having deflected it in, is getting the fans going, and they're responding, and fair play. 66th minute, I suppose there's still a lot of time left in this game.
Yeah. Well,
so,
another goal from Wrexham, and then it's getting back on again, I suppose. But
True. Oh, this is mad. Yeah. I mean, I've got to say, they don't look good at the back. With hindsight, our third goal is the key moment. That goes in, and that gives us hope. The fact that we'll get another soon afterwards changes everything. Can I listen to my commentary? Got quite excited about goals lately. I didn't get excited about that one. Oh, Wrexham have scored. But it was key. And Palmer immediately got to work, rousing the crowd. And his charismatic approach, his big personality has been a massive thing for Wrexham Football Club in the second half of the season.
I thought once we got one, then it might happen. I think at 20 minutes, because the goal came about 18 minutes to go, and I think that, this is game on. If it had come much later, I don't think we would have got it back.
It was a strange feeling, wasn't it? I think everybody, the nature of the goals we conceded, it was just a very strange feeling. But I think the supporters live every moment with us, and I can feel that in game. And I felt today they were thinking what I was thinking, that we've still got the ability to get back in the game. Whether we're going to go and win it, probably that was maybe in a lot of people's minds, maybe a bit too much.
They were getting joy. Don't get me wrong, and like I say, it was an off day from our point of view in terms of defensively, because of look how solid we've been defensively recently, and. But like I say, when you have got teams that are cheating, and you're also, because we're on the attack as well, you want to get in a position where you can affect their players, but then they're leaving free up the pitch, so you've got to be that little bit cautious as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly if they if they carried on going, who knows? But like I say, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm good on Football Manager, but probably wouldn't be with people,
Game on. It's Wrexham 3, Dover Athletic 5. A phrase I've never said in my life before, that no one has ever said in their life before.
Ollie Palmer's getting the crowd going, and I think that's one of his tricks that he likes doing anyway. He's always, every time, even if he scores at 1-0 with 6 minutes to go, if the opposition team have done that thing where they switch because they want to shoot towards us in the second half, if he scores in the first half, 6 minutes in, he's still giving it the big one because he's just that sort of player, and you can tell he's really thriving off the crowds.
Get behind the players. Palmer's got the ball in his hand. We're all enthusiastic. We still don't believe it's going to happen. There's no way on earth in was it the 65th minute or was it the 70th? Something like that. no way anything's going to come from this.
We probably killed ourselves a bit. Also, we can look at it the other side and say, if we didn't waste so much time, would there be plus 9 minutes? You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it works both ways, really. But sometimes you've got to just manage the game how you think. You know, we're looking at the clock, thinking 15 minutes to go, they've still got to score 3 goals. What can we do to just run out of the game? And like you said, he didn't book Parks until quite late on, which had to speed him up a bit. But yeah, that's my view on it, really. At the end of the day, you've got to do, I think most teams would do that in our situation.
Wrexham went up the other end and they scored 1. And then it was like all faith then come back to me. At not any stage did I think I'm going to turn this off, because I think the team that they have at the moment, there's opportunities anywhere for goals. And I think the midfield, and I've said it before, I think the midfield that we've got is so strong and so fit that it changes games just like that. And I think with bringing Ollie Palmer in, I think it gives them an opportunity rather than just going to Mullin. It gives them an opportunity to go to Palmer, which is an outlet for them. Before I don't think they had that outlet. Palmer's, I think he's an awesome player. And I think with him on the pitch, we had a chance.
You know, at this point, there was relentless pressure from Wrexham. There was a lot of substitutions. There was cards. And at this point, I was just typing frantically. I was really struggling to get every sort of chance onto the match centre. It was completely mental. I think so. It had to be this game where I had to do a text commentary, really.
I remember looking at the clock when we was 5-2 up, and I said to one of the boys, I think it was after, I can't remember, I think it was when there was a head injury from the 4th goal, and I said, we can't lose this. I said, 4 goals in 20 minutes. I said, like, that's ridiculous to lose a game. I said, minimum draw. Like, that, in our heads, it was like, we've got to get a point at least. Although we knew that the pressure was going to come. But I think that 3rd goal from yourself sort of changed everything, you know. I think we lost a bit of legs in midfield. The young lads' mentality, they're not really experienced. And obviously you changed your shape, and then I went up top through the middle. So every time it was coming up to me, there was not really any outlet to get us up the pitch again, you know. So it was just constantly defending, and obviously you have the long throw as well. So it was just like every time we cleared, it was just coming straight back in. So mentally, that's where we've let ourselves down this year. Is mentally we've not been strong enough to see out games, and I think when you played us at our place as well, you scored quite late on to win 1-0. So our concentration levels have been quite vital this year in terms of letting us down.
Wrexham scored 1, still 5-3, still 5-3. Crikey! And the minutes pass and the pressure builds.
There's more goals in this game yet.
The odd thing that supports us and gives us hope here is Tozer's, hang on, he's not hanging about, slings it to the near post. A good header cleared up by Moses. Won back well by Young, hits it left foot and puts it wide from the edge of the area on the wrong foot. And now he's making the point of spotting the ball up for Parks. The ref's got to do something about Parks, but he's not going to do anything at all, is he?
I mean, you could feel it on the pitch. The atmosphere was incredible. I mean, my mum and dad were in the stands, and they were like, they've been to a load of Wrexham games throughout my time here, and they said that's the best they've ever experienced. It was incredible. Like, there was a moment where I picked the ball up on the right and I dinked it down the line to Moles. Moles was running at centre half, and the roar was amazing.
When Palmer gets the 4th, it's game on. The crowd believes now.
Throw in, will it be? Oh, well, McFadden's busting a gut to keep it in. He does on the halfway line and rolls it down the line. Tozer is coming back from that set piece. McFadden, lovely ball down the flank now. Here's Jarvis running at his man, cutting in the box, squares it on. Chance for a shot, driven. Yes! It's in! Game on! What a brilliant finish by Palmer! He toe poked it, a toe buster. This is madness. We're back in this game. We are back in this game. Palmer with an absolute toe buster after Wrexham built down the right.
Who knows what's got? How long have we got left?
21.
21.
But you've got to give the lads enormous credit the way they came back in it, and we remained patient and we got the chances in the end, and I always feel we've got players who'll take those chances.
When Ollie Palmer scored the fourth goal, that's when he was really giving it that run with the ball, or someone had the ball, but he's giving it like that to the crowd. It felt a bit like when Glenn Little did something similar against me and Mark just talked about. I couldn't remember whether it was Darlington or Mansfield, but it was one of those big games in the 98-point season or the playoff season, and he was giving it the big into the crowd, and everyone was responding. And I think Ollie Palmer's really got that ability to become such a cult hero at the club. He's come in January when we really needed a striker, and he's such a character, posting photos in his boxes on Instagram after the game. You know, there's not many players have got that sort of character. He's got a real like sort of ring of Glenn Little about him. When that fourth goal went in, I know some people might say the third, but for me, when that fourth goal went in, I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this today.
Yeah, he was great. He was the one who sort of got the great game by the scruff of the neck and dragged Wrexham through it. Because Jordan Davis, who usually does things like that, for the first hour or so, everything he was doing was 20% off. His passes were 20% off. His finish when he hit the bar was 20% off. I was saying this to Callum. We needed somebody to rise up in that game because Paul Mullin was quite quiet. I thought he had moments where he was quite quiet in that game. So without Mullin and Davis doing it, we needed that somebody, and it was definitely him. Yeah. He was superb. He was trying to get everybody going. He scored the goal. He was fantastic. Yeah,
they shouldn't have put their foot off the gas. They could have really done some damage. I mean, they'd already done a lot of damage, but they could have really done some damage. And they had one quite clear-cut chance to go 6-3, didn't they?
I think Dover have made a fundamental mistake because it was their boldness and their crazy gambling that turn it into a freak match where they can score 5 goals. And they do have more chances. For me, they should have kept gambling. Only freakish tactics gave them a chance. They should have persisted with them. But I understand the logic that when you're 20 minutes to go and you're 3 goals up, you just play the game out. It's just they fail to do that because they are a team that hasn't been winning games. They can't defend their box. Why suddenly decide you're going to defend your box for 20 minutes plus a huge chunk of added time against a side as strong as Wrexham?
Palmer turns. And still going, driving to the corner flag. He wants to win a corner. He's squeezing across, actually. Now then, can Wrexham make something here? Laid back to the edge of the D. Jones hits it right-footed, deflected twice, just wide. Wow! Corner. Double deflection. Could have gone anywhere. This is nuts. Jones inside to Hall Johnson. Good ball. The game is so stretched here. Touch by Jarvis. Lovely dink down the line. Mullen now charging down the right. Only Palmer in the middle. He takes on his man. Oh, what a tackle. What a tackle. It was a tremendous piece of defending by Goodman. Oh, Mullen was one-on-one. Hall Johnson pumps down the line. Here's Jarvis again. He's got Palmer screaming for it. I think sensibly doesn't deliver. Wrexham lacking support, but it's a good ball to the edge of the area now. Davis plays it in. Mullen, tight angle, drives it. Good save. Corner. Wow.
At 5-4 and 5-5, you kind of, the crowd sent something and we sent something, and we just had to grab it by the horns and go for it because we were 5-2 down and weren't expecting to come back and draw the game, let alone win. So just go for it. And obviously the gaffer made changes, changed formation a little bit, and we went for it because we had to try and get ourselves out of a sticky situation, and thankfully we did.
Patience. People don't have patience at a football game.
It wasn't as if it was dead yet. There was a very strange atmosphere in the crowd. They'd applauded Dover's magnificent first goal very generously. But then, as the goals started popping in, the atmosphere changed. It didn't become toxic. I think Wrexham have had enough toxicity over the past few years. It became disappointed. It was almost a sigh of universal disappointment. And then I think they kind of cottoned on that Dover, who were understandably resorting to some of the dark arts of holding the game up, not necessarily playing as quickly as they could have done.
They start the worst time-wasting job I've ever seen in my life. And look, fair play to them. You know, it'd be easy to get angry, and I think everyone in the crowd was getting frustrated. For the most part, they did a job. They sucked 10 minutes out of that game. we completely lost all momentum. It looked like they, even at 5-4, they looked like in a way, it looked like they'd done the job. You've got it takes some sort of, it takes a lot of discipline to be able to do that. And I think, unfortunately for them, we score that fourth goal on the 69th, 70th minute, and I don't think they had enough time to carry on with that tactic. If we'd have scored the fourth goal at the 85th minute and they'd have done that for 10 minutes, they'd have won. It's as simple as that. The tactic would have been enough for them then, but we just had enough time left on the clock, and they'd sort of inadvertently given us another 10 minutes to go on and win it.
The momentum seemed just to take over.
Anyway, there's been so much shirt pulling in this game so far.
Oh gosh, yeah. Young floats it in with height. Oh, it goes past everybody. Well, it was a great corner, that, and everyone attacked it. 2 players missed it. Wrexham attacking again. Cross comes in, keeper, great take by Parks, and he'll hit the deck and stay down. And another Dover player goes down. And well,
a card has got to come out.
Well, the thing is, like I say, do I blame them? It's not nice, but quite frankly, if the referee is this week, I mean, he still hasn't booked anyone. If the referee is this week, then you do it, don't you? You've got another Dover player on the edge of the area, just checking his calves to get ready to go down next time if supposed cramp.
They went 5-2 up, and you start to question yourself, but ultimately you've got to believe that you're going to get back in the game. And I think because we scored that one so quickly and the second one bounced in, and we just had to believe and keep on going. And when they start dropping like flies, I think it just gives you such a momentum lift mentality wise, and lucky we capitalised on it in the end.
Wilkinson back heels it for a throw to Wrexham. Tozer will sprint across to take this. McAlinden's still waiting to come on. The ball boy comes across with the towel, but Tozer's no time, mate. I'm going to just hurl this in. 8 minutes left. Tozer slings it into the far post. Hayden gets up. Oh, it's sliced over by Mullen. He didn't expect it, did he? Hayden jumped in front of him.
There is that moment where Arthurs could make it 6-4. That probably would have killed us off. Arthurs doesn't quite strike it well enough to score, but doesn't strike it badly enough that it pulls across to the 2 guys who would have had an open goal tap in. It's a really, really lucky let off.
They had a chance. I remember they had a chance at 5-4. Was it 5-4 where it flashed across the goal? Do you know what I mean? You think if that goes in, 6-4, it's definitely game over.
Best ball to Hayden. The best he can do is thrash it off his man, and it bounces onto the cop. Quick goal kick given by Dibble, who's giving it away. Oh, what is he doing? It's a driving run through the middle by Judd, 30 yards out. Feeds a nice ball. Arthurs, chance to wrap this up across Dibble and just wide. He had 2 players unmarked 6 yards out with an open goal tap in.
And then there was a pivotal point, and I don't think it was on there, but the guy was running through for them, and he missed a perfectly good opportunity to make the 6th. And that was like, I think if that one had gone in, that would have been it.
Ooh, it's about, and Palmer climbed all over the place. Ball ricochets loose. Wilkinson, what a tackle by Young! Tremendous tackle. Wilkinson stays down. There's 2 Dover players down now. They're going to get up in a sec if Wrexham win the ball back. Tozer wins the ball back. Yep, up they get. McFadden driving down the left-hand side. That's got the crowd going again. Now, here is Jones. Got bodies in the box. Cuts inside. He might try a shot here. He works to the edge of the right-hand side. McLinden now. Left-footed. Floats to the far post. Too high for Mullen. Just too high for Mullen. Goodness me, unlucky. And then the 2 Dover players go down again. And this is where you can legitimately book players for play acting, I think. You can't go down injured, get back, make 30-yard recovery sprints, and then say, I can't play on and go down.
And then we've got back in the game, mainly, I think, because they started time wasting. And they started time wasting so badly, it ends up accumulating in 9 minutes of injury time, which I don't think I've ever seen an injury time of 9 minutes where 1 player has been booked for time wasting. Their goalkeeper, what is it? I've written it down somewhere. Parks. Parks should have been sent off 7 times in that game. How has he got away with that?
Yeah.
Like the other ones, the going down off the ball and stuff, you can understand that to some extent. They did a hell of a lot of that. Just literally every time they were sort of out of the game, they just go down off the ball and try and get the game stopped. and whatnot. But the goalkeeper was wasting 10, 12 seconds every time he had the ball. Even when you get 6 when you catch, when you've got hold of the ball in open play, that was going 10, 11, 12 every time.
Yeah, but it's 5-4. You just like, come on, we've got this kind of thing. But they still held until the 90th minute, which fair play. I'll give them that.
Toes on his right foot, sets himself, lofts it towards the edge of the area. Mullen's shirt pulled, but it falls through from McAlinden. He's given a free kick on the edge of the D. McAlinden's furious. He was 1-on-1 with the keeper.
It's Jordan Davis, isn't it? He's just class.
And there's more belief. And then free kicks given, Jordan Davis. The scene is set. And there's no way, he can't do this, surely.
When Jordan Davis put the ball down for that free kick, I thought, oh, here we go, added time. Dover did a lot of time wasting. I thought, oh, he's going to score in, it's going to be a draw, and we're going to look at this a bit as a disappointing result. But we've shown some fight and some guts to get 5-all. And I knew when Jordan Davis put that ball down for a free kick that it was going to be a goal, even though I know the goalkeeper should have done a better job at saving it. And
free kicks, they're class and just on point.
Jordan provides Jordan Davis moment.
Wilkinson is standing on the ball to line up the wall or waste time. Young shoves him in the back to tell him to get lost. He just stands in front of the ball instead, 3 yards away.
What do we do for a Bale moment now?
So, well, Davis steps up, sweeps it beyond the wall. Yes! It's the Bale! Yes! Never mind Gareth Bale! We've got Jordan Davis! Come on! Jordan Davis went keeper side and Parks gets punished. He doesn't get punished by the ref, but he gets punished by Jordan Davis because he gambles behind his wall and Davis struck it sweetly, bottom left corner. Come on! 5-all!
We've got about 6 or 7 minutes to play.
Wow. We had 90 seconds of the 9. We pulled it back to 5-all. Come on now.
And then he just bends it bottom left. Oh my, what a feeling that was, I tell you. That was brilliant. Me and my dad are hugging, like, slamming the seats. Everyone's on their toes. We've got an equaliser. We've made hard work of a team we shouldn't be making hard work of, but we've managed to get the equaliser. Let's go for a winner.
Keeper's tapped it, He's got a hand to it. He got his hand to it, because I'm there. I've seen his hand get to it, but it's not enough. It's like against Kings Lynn, the penalty. Keeper gets hand to it, but it's not enough. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah, like I've said before, it's good that practice comes off, and in important moments, it's popped up to help us.
Our neighbours must have heard me going absolutely crazy. My little daughter, who's 4, when the 5th goal went in, she went running in the bedroom because she was that scared because I was shouting that frigging loud.
It's funny because when we scored we scored 2 goals within 10 minutes, was it? 5-10 minutes?
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until the 90th minute where we got the equaliser. And I'm thinking to myself, this was before the board went up. And I'm thinking, come on, George, come on, put this. If there's ever a time we need you to put one in, it's now. And he did. And as soon as 9 minutes went up added time, you're thinking, come on, we'll get a chance at least. And I think it's ours. Because it's funny, because at 5-4 down, I had a corner in the bottom right-hand corner, and I said to Lionel, I went, we'll win this game. You watch, we'll win this. I said to him 7-5. And it was 6-5. And at the end, he said to me, you did say that we would win, but but by only 1 goal, not 2. And I went, I'm not bothered about that. I'll take the win as it comes.
90 minutes board went up, and by that time it was 4-5, and it was 9 minutes. And at that point, I'd started writing a lot about this game, of course, because I'd never seen anything like it. At that point, I knew, and I'm certainly not overplaying my own foresight on this. I knew that in those 9 minutes, Wrexham would score 2 goals. I also firmly believe that everybody in the ground, from Andy Hessenthaler, the Dover manager, to anybody who hadn't walked out, and many had, of course, bless them, that Wrexham would score these 2 goals.
And I was thinking, right, I was just listening to you guys, and it was a free kick on the edge of the area, and I was thinking, this is our opportunity. Jordan Davis, who scores so many goals and free kicks, this is it. And I'm like, I got my hand. I don't know why I got my hands over. I remember I had my hands over my eyes like this. I don't know what I was expecting to see in the dark. And all I hear was you guys screaming to say it was 5-5, and it's sort of like it was just sort of that relief you could feel everywhere. And then all of a sudden it was how long we got left, and then somebody said 9 minutes or whatever it was left, and just before the goal. And then I was thinking, well, how long we played, and I couldn't see my watch. I was looking at my phone, how long we got.
I mean, Geordie, listen, it was a bit of a risk to play him today because of his calf problem, and I slept on that overnight, and because of his goal scoring prowess, we went with him, and I thought he looked leggy, particularly in the first half. He's had an incredible chance to score, which I think he's hit the bar with, but you always feel on the pitch he's going to produce a bit of magic.
I don't know about how other people felt, but the equaliser was a bit of a weird feeling, really, because I wasn't satisfied. 5-5 wasn't enough. We had to win that. It's as simple as that. It was a great goal, fantastic goal. Atmosphere was electric afterwards, but personally, it wasn't enough. We were sort of turning around to each other, and it was like, yeah, we're relieved, but I think that's the kind of game that you walk away at 5-5 and you think, no, that shouldn't have happened.
I mean, it's insane then, but it's not enough. There's still 8 added minutes left, and you're fancying us to win this now. And we have to win it. And we pile it on, and we just get corner after corner after corner. Surely one of them's going to go in.
Tozer hurls it into the edge of the 6-yard box. Hayden! What a save! What a save!
Yeah, I knew we were going to get big chances because Dover were literally absolutely out on their feet as well. They were when it got to level, they were done. I thought anyway. There was just corner after corner after corner, wasn't it? In those last 6 or 7 minutes of the 9.
McFadden can stand this back in. Sweeps his head. He's looking for Palmer. Drops loose. Palmer's fighting for it. Hits it. Tremendous block. Tremendous block. That corner. Goodness me. It's the 97th minute. Young with the corner. Constant pressure. Young with the in-swinger. Sweeps it to the near post. Headed. Davis' header blocked. Another corner.
So I was wanting Dibble to go up, because there was no way they were coming back and scoring, because when they took Gayassi off, did they even come in our half?
Young again with another corner. Right-footed to the far post, headed away comfortably. Jarvis, edge of the D, brings it down. McAlinden takes over. He's got a ball wide. Mullen, left side the box, chips it in. Easy for the keeper. He's pounded behind for another corner.
I thought that was going out myself.
I thought it was A, going out, and B, was catchable, but the keeper flapped at it. It's another corner.
Why does the keeper claw at that chip by Mullen? Why? Let it go. 5-5 draw. Thank you, Mr. Parks.
You concentrate more on just putting it into a good area, and then when you're chasing the game, you find yourself rushing to get the ball. You're rushing to put it down because you ain't got much time left, and you're thinking, do not underhit it, do not overhit it. Just concentrate on putting the ball in an area. You haven't got to whip the hell out of it. Just feed it in there, with a little bit of pace, but not too floaty, away from the keeper. And it gives yourself a chance. And I think we had three in a row, I think, before we scored. And thankfully the third one went in. So all flick, and then obviously Jordan at the back post anyway.
Young under the bar this time, flicked on. Yes! 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 Yes!
Just in case you haven't realised, Wrexham have scored.
I'm happy with that.
Everybody in the racecourse is on their feet.
It's always sunny in Wrexham. I have no idea who scored. I do not care who scored. I know that someone scored.
The press box is normally a very calm place, but everybody was on their feet for that. It was tremendous.
Oh, I think it might be Mullen. Now, if you look up irony in the dictionary, you'll see 2 Wrexham players down asking for treatment.
Yes.
One of whom was in the 6-yard box a moment ago and is now on the edge of the box. I wonder how that happened. We have got 15 seconds left of the 9, and as I've said all along, ref, don't add any more on. There's no need to add any more on.
It's some feeling, hard to describe really. I think Youngie whipped it in, someone touched it in front of me, and I've just sort of stuck my neck out, and luckily I've got enough on it. It's just gone into the bottom corner. Then after that, I can't really remember much. I just remember getting jumped on, but yeah, it was a great feeling.
Bang, straight in. Ball boys are in the net celebrating with them all. Absolute scenes. That was great.
The goals were absolute pandemonium. I mean, the last one.
Yeah.
I never experienced anything like that in my life. Like the pandemonium that just went off was absolutely brilliant. No one knew what to do when they said it. I mean, you've got Jordan Davis in the goal with palms on top of him, and then everyone's just gone off like their own little way and stuff. I mean, no one knew what to do.
I did go a bit crazy when we scored the last goal. This was not my manufactured Brazilian thing. This was real me going nuts. The mic tries to shut down because I'm in danger of bursting it. In the background, you can hear Neil and Andy just laughing, just hysterically laughing.
It's just literally bodies flying everywhere, isn't it? And it's ended up in the net, and then it's just, I can't even remember what happened after that other than the laughing. It was just crazy. Brilliant, yeah. But I thought Jarvis had scored, but who cares?
I was just living in dream world then, because I could hear you like guys getting really, really excited. And I was lying there, and I must have had a broad smile on my face because listening to you guys.
And I was already celebrating before it even went in. If you watch the goal back, I'm already trying to hug the referee. Like the ball's mid-flight, and I've turned around, and the referee's the nearest bloke, and I've gone, oh, should I? And then I thought, oh, no, probably not. And then ran towards the crowd instead.
Oh, I would have wanted to see that. Don't do it. They're bound to buck you. They got no sense of humour, but...
Yeah,
oh.
at that point, wasn't it?
But it was pandemonium when that 6th goal went in. I think, everyone went nuts. What the F was just, I just think that was the whole crowd would just turn into each other, the mates and people who weren't mates, and just turning around going, what's just happened?
When the 6 went in, I literally fell on my back because I was like, this is just, and I was jealous. I was grateful that we got the 6th goal, but I was like, my gosh, if it was ever a time I wish I was back home, wish it was now, like.
Oh my God.
And there's a video that my wife posted that's gone pretty busy right now. I think a few people have watched it, and makes me look a little bit maybe like an alcoholic because there's a can of beer there, and it's like 10:50 in the morning.
Jordan Davis. Was it Jordan or was it? I don't know. All I remember is everyone going nuts with me on my phone out, getting the final whistle as well. 1,900 views. I'm buzzing now. I'm gonna keep doing more. I'm doing that at Wembley,
And it had to be one of the last kicks of the game. wow, no one knew who scored it originally. Everyone thought it was Dan Jarvis. I just remember typing goal in capitals and basically slamming my hand on the keyboard and then pressing I don't know who scored sort of thing. And I just couldn't quite believe what I've seen. To win 6-5 shows a lot of guts.
I didn't know really what happened at the time because I kept watching it. All I was listening to is you guys, and it was just a massive scream and yes, and I was thinking I didn't care how it went in, but obviously it's gone in. It was just sort of relief, and I had this stupid smile on my face that was like, how have we done that? It's one of those games in a million. And I didn't scream, I didn't wake up my wife, which was good, but it was an experience that I wish I could have had somebody to share it with, but I was on my own, and it was one of those things, me being in New Zealand, so but yeah, it was one of the experiences that I'll probably never hear again from you guys or see again, and it was an experience all in itself. And it's funny how you have faith in your team, because, and I understand why people leave, they're thinking it's going to be a cricket score when it's got to 5-2, but it's something in you to say, yeah, stick it out, it's on. We could get something, it just needs one goal, and that's all it needed.
I think we could have easily been booed off at half-time. I don't think anyone would have questioned it if we did. And I think once we scored that third, I think one of their players said to me, wow, the crowd's really come alive, and to be honest, they drove us to get the 6. So yeah, thank you very much, crowd.
I think just before that, I think you had like a throw in and 2 other corners, and we had cleared them. So it was just like to the ref, like how long's left, and he was like 30 seconds, 45 seconds sort of thing. So like you said, it's just that one corner too many, but that's still not an excuse. You have to defend your box as a team, and we didn't do that. And okay, someone's lost their man. You've won the first header, and someone's lost their man on the second. But the frustrating thing for us is your goals wasn't like great goals as such. Do you know what I mean? They was like, they just are errors in a way, like the free kick, as our goalkeeper got to do better. Yes, he has. The first one maybe as well, where he's palmed it to Mullin and he just tapped it in. So there was never goals that you would look at and go, yes, you did deserve it, but we could have done better there. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that it was. Yeah, it's not nice to lose a football match, but it was a great occasion.
To be fair, I'm surprised, and I'm surprised that my mates made a bet. My mate betted on Dover winning, then another one betted on Wrexham for a tenner.
So what's the score then?
No, this was before the game.
Oh, right, yeah.
So then, as soon as Dover got 5-2 up, my mate who's gone for Wrexham was just looking like this. Got a tear in his eye because he's going to lose some money. End the game, 6-5. Then the other mate, he's just like... yeah, like, that's his reaction.
There's 9 minutes added time. I mean, Dover really brought it on themselves. They spent so much time on the floor. This is partially their fault.
All of a sudden, our players are dropping down like flies, and the shoes on the other foot. Everyone's suddenly got an injury and got cramp.
When we still had 2 goals to score in the 90th minute before that, it was 9+ minutes to go up. So we did change the shape and go to, I think we went to a 4-5-1 or 5-4-1. I can't quite remember. But even at that point, you're thinking, well, 2 goals in 9 minutes, like it shouldn't happen in football. It shouldn't happen, and we're very critical of ourselves. That's been our downfall this year.
Oh, Mullen is just stopping Collins from taking it. Oh! So he shoves him in the chest, and Mullen is angry. The ref will never ever do anything to discipline someone. This must be it. We've had 11 added minutes, and a free kick's mishit. Judd lifts it to the edge of Wrexham's area. Tozer, is he being fouled? No. Good tackle by Davis. Was he fouled? No. The ball's cleared. The referee seemed to put the whistle to his lips, but now he's put it away again.
Perhaps
Parks
the referee wants some more of
hits
this
it long.
game.
Oh, yes, there's that final whistle.
some hug.
I love football. I love football. Well done, chaps. That was all right. That was. Oh, I love that. I tell you, beautiful.
It's crazy here.
Neil, it's been a pleasure. I'm retiring now. It doesn't get any better than that.
If you paid your money for this game,
that was quite fun, wasn't it? That I wish I'd videoed us in that game. I tell you, I have never commentated on anything like that.
The final whistle was it was more relief more than anything, I think, because at 5-2, I'm thinking to myself out there, we're in tomorrow here, like we're going to be in like the day after. We're on Sunday, and I'm thinking, nah, like come on, like we can't be losing this game. So, like you say, thankfully we got over the line. And it was relief, to be honest, and I think the fans kept us going. They were, even at 5-2, they were still trying to give it a go, because they could probably sense that we had the firepower and the tactics probably to win the game. And yeah, we repaid it. And when the whistle went, it was like, thank God for that.
Final whistle goes and I think it represents something a lot bigger than this. We talked about it a little bit. Sense of excitement and relief every time we win a game, but that sort of something it was similar to completely different circumstances. But it was similar to that in the sense that people were just like, "We've done it. We sort of knew we were going to do it, but we did it." And to know you're going to do something and actually achieve it is quite satisfying being a Wrexham fan. We've not had a lot of that, have we, especially over the last 15 years. And yeah, amazing. I think when the players were coming over and everyone was clapping, I think I just stood there doing that for about 2 minutes straight. Didn't even really know what I was doing. Like, yes, come on. And again, like filtering out, people were just turning to people that didn't know, going, "What's going on? What was that all about?" Che video called me because he was doing the media stuff, wasn't he? And we couldn't hear each other. And the parents were like, What just happened? What just happened?
Most of these algorithms are actually formed from past historical results. How likely is it, if a team starts at 1-16, that the match result will end up at 6-5 to the home team? I can tell you, not very often at all in the history of world football that we obviously plug into our database to say, can this happen? Well, I'll give you a short answer. The computer effectively said no before the game and said, don't even bother putting this on your website. And when results happen that aren't on your website pre-game, you know something spectacular has happened.
But I have to say, I thought man of the match today was the crowd. I really do, because 2-2 at half time, they were good. And I thought through the second half, even at 5-2, they stayed behind us. They probably could sense, like me, that this game wasn't dead. And I thought they were magnificent today.
At the end of the added time, when we'd scored, it's the only time I've ever celebrated by laughing for half an hour straight. I didn't cheer. I was jumping up and down. I was just laughing. I was walking out the stadium back to the car. I was laughing all the way there. It was fantastic.
So, credit to yourselves for keep going, and it was a fantastic game, and it obviously means a lot to yourselves because it keeps your momentum going, and you're sitting second in the table. So, look, it's what you want to play in front of 8,000, 9,000 every week. That's what as a footballer, that's what you want to do. So, for a club like us who don't really get that many fans unless travelling fans are coming down, it's a great experience.
I wouldn't say shock at the end. It was just it was a relief more than anything. And it was kind of like, wow, what have we just done?
Yeah,
that was the feeling. And then, as soon as we got back in the dressing room and stuff, heads back on, looking back to next weekend and stuff, and just thinking, look, we can't defend against Stockport like that. We have to. Performances have to be better than that. We shouldn't have to be digging ourselves out against a side like Dover when we've got top of the league coming up next week. But I mean, the character in the group to turn it round was fantastic, and the character that was shown was brilliant from every single one that played. And just, you know, the dressing room as a whole are in a very good place, I think, at the moment.
The first thing that I need to say is that Wrexham were backed from 12-1 on, which, even if it had stayed at 12-1 on, would be a record shortest price that there has ever been in that division. So there's not been a home game that was more expected for the home team to win than this particular game at the weekend. But they were in so many accumulators because people do click down the leagues, and obviously it was an international weekend, and people were looking for their Manchester City of the weekend, their Liverpool of the weekend, the cornerstone of their accumulators. So Wrexham were in so many accumulators that they actually went off at 1-16, which is a record I don't think we'll see that record broken. I can't see how we would. I don't think there'll ever be a game in the football conference, in the National League, that will ever have a shorter price favourite. So that's before a ball's kicked. They're 1-16. They go 2-0 up, and most companies take the sensible decision that they've just got to take the game off their website. What is the point of having a game on the website where a team are effectively no offers to go and win the game? 1 to 1,000, even then you're taking an element of risk as a company, because surely Wrexham have won this game. The most ridiculous turnaround, as you all know, is that once Dover get ahead, can they be favourites for the game? Before the game, if you'd have priced up Dover to even score 3 goals, most companies wouldn't have put it on their site because it was in the realms of impossibility. If Wrexham are starting the game at 1-16, the opposition to score 3 goals is getting into the hundreds to 1. So we've estimated it was about 200-1 that Dover could go and score 3 goals, regardless of what Wrexham actually did in the game. So when they go 3-2 up, they've already broken a number of the not available odds that would have been on offer before the game, or not on offer, so to speak. So they go to evens for the game at one particular point. So they're actually favourites for the game. So it's a huge turnaround in the prices. Wrexham start to drift. They drift even more at 4-2.
Who scored? Nobody knew. Nobody's got a clue who scored. Nobody cares who scored. It's Jordan Davis. But nobody can tell. Until the end of it, nobody identifies the scorer. Paul Neal has got to send off the name of the scorer to PA data. Nobody can help him up in the press box. Nobody. So he has to send off Dan Jarvis's name.
The game, and I've looked on my phone and I've got like 40 messages from people saying, "Oh, I've seen you got the winning goal, Jars. Love that, Jars. Great goal, Jars." And I'm like, huh? I was thinking to myself, I was on the edge of the box when the last goal went in.
We're not sure who scored it after the final whistle. And we end up managing to get our hands on footage of it from 2 different angles, but none of them are decisive. Jordan's covered by defenders who are blocking the view of him in the way of the camera, and it's really hard to tell. If anyone's pushing their luck in the press box, they're all saying they think that it's Jarvis. Everyone is saying that, except Kevin Ratcliffe. Kevin Ratcliffe is adamant it was Jordan Davis because he used to be a football manager. He's got the football eye. And he's pointing out that Davis, his role was always attacking the centre of the 6-yard box. So logically, it was him. I didn't have a clue. I thought he'd been flicked on at the near post, to be honest with you. It just went nuts. But yeah, we finally work it out because I got the video up again, got it back a bit further on, put my finger on Jordan Davis on the screen and just followed it along to see where he went. And he went in the goal mouth. And right, it was Jordan. But otherwise, it was just, nobody had a clue. It's brilliant.
I was going to claim it at one point, but then I thought I've got no chance here of getting this goal because I was nowhere near it. I was on the edge of the box.
And the way that statistics work in lower level football, go on, have a look on websites that you look on for statistics. It's a good lesson on why you should never trust them. Because Dan Jarvis scored that goal. and Jordan Davis didn't. And that's how it'll always be recorded now. Isn't that mad?
I said to Jord, I was like, Jord, if you let me have the goal, I'll share my my goal bonus with you. But he was having none of it, to be fair to him. I can't blame him. He's scored a lot of goals this season. He needs more.
Yeah. So it's very charitable of you, fair dues to you.
I know, yeah. How nice of me to give him a goal that he scored.
And I think as the players were coming, you know, they always come to celebrate, and Mullin does the crowd rouse and stuff, and you know, it's always great. Some people think it's cheesy, but I love that stuff. Like, why not? Like, let's get the crowd going. Let's get everyone behind one thing. But one thing that really stood out for me is Luke Young has been an absolute stalwart of the club over the last couple of years. Probably at my time watching Wrexham, absolutely the most underrated player we've got. You know, he has been amazing this season, and I know his style of football doesn't suit everyone's taste, but he is so dedicated to the club, and fair play to him. You know, as he came over, he gave his shirt to one of the young lads or lasses, I couldn't see who it was, someone at the front, and just the look of disbelief on his face, but like, in a positive way. He clearly enjoyed that. That's something that I think that's a reward for all his dedication to the club. That's something that a player like that, not every player on the pitch who played their part that day obviously deserve it, but he really, as club captain and someone who's taken a lot of stick, he deserves moments like that, and fair play to him. What a guy. What a day.
Excitement, relief, like just happy to win the game. And like, I think because of how the game panned out and how we actually won the game, and literally last minute, it was like, wow, how have we done that? But like, let's take credit from it and savor the moment and just enjoy it. And the fans were enjoying it. It was almost like a party atmosphere after the game in the stadium, and you're going around clapping and whatnot. And like, there was just this little boy that had a like cardboard sign saying, "Luke Young, please can I have your shirt? Hashtag captain something or other." So I thought that, like, what's the harm in going over? We've just come back from 5-2 and won the game and last minute. So, like you say, little things like that, and it make little kids, boys, girls, mums, dads, scram, whatever, that makes their day. So yeah, it was just, and then obviously in the tunnel at the end of Steve, I just put my arm around him, looked at him and just like laughed a little bit, really, as if to say, like, what's gone on there? And he looked at me and did the same. And it was just like, thank God we've won that game.
Well, have some sympathy for all the people that, and I know there's even a couple of Wrexham fans that have shared their betting slips from other companies where they have had Wrexham as the cornerstone of their racket. Everything's going well in all the other games, and they've decided to cash out for a minimal amount of profit because they think that Wrexham's going to be the team that lets them down. And then it subsequently turns around, and when that sixth goal goes in, there must be an element in their mind that's absolutely delighted from a fan point of view, and realise that they've cost themselves the difference between a 20 quid payout and a 200 quid payout because they just had no faith that 2 goals would have been scored in that injury time.
And I finished work and I'm just praying. I'm like, please, go on my live score app. 5-5. I'm like, oh my, wow, we've done it, we've come back, but we've dropped 2 points. We were winning 2-0, we've dropped 2 points. And then notification pops down. I can't remember what it said. I think it just said yes, like a really long yes. And not quite as good as Mark's commentary saying yes. But yeah, 6-5, incredible. The first thing I did, I scoured around, where is this fan? I need to go take the mick out of him. Look, we've just come from 5-2 down and beat Dover 6-5. But he was nowhere to be seen. He'd obviously seen the result and absolutely sprinted away. Or he was just very angry that he lost 4-1 to Hereford and sprinted away.
And if anything, bookmakers limited their losses because people were cashing out before Wrexham actually eventually won the game, as everyone thought they would, but in the most bizarre of circumstances that meant people were just trying to get their stake back. So it was only the people that had faith that Wrexham would score 2 in injury time and come back and win 6-5 that would have got the full amount of their accas. So that little bit in between is obviously what we saved or saved us. And, you know, as I said, starting the game at 1-16 and then going 2-0 up means that game's coming off the website. Who wants to bet on that? That team have won. Move on to the next game, except something extraordinary happened.
Be fair, we get trained to games, so it's all right. We've got to train. So it's only 2-3 hours back to Euston, so it weren't too bad. All the northern trips we get a train. So yeah, it was okay. It was okay. We sat down and obviously had a chat as players and that, but I think we was proud in a way that we could go to a team like Wrexham and put on a show like that, because like I said, teams like Dover just can't compete at the top of the league in that level. It's sort of all about just trying to stay in the league. And I think Aldershot will probably be the same, Kingsley, and just the teams down at the bottom. But you know, it's a fantastic league.
And I was absolutely exhausted at the end of it. I'd just been sat there staring into the sun. I had to file on the whistle as the teams went off, virtually weeping at the incompleteness of my report, because words, I'm afraid, you know, they're supposed to be my stock in trade, but there are not enough words in the English language to fully, correctly describe what happened that afternoon. Nobody. JB Priestley doesn't have the words because they don't exist. And it was an astonishing experience. There was all sorts of catharsis around this too. It was a sort of redemption. And because I'm neutral, absolutely genuinely neutral, I was heartbroken for Dover too. Because the game was a game of 4 slabs. Wrexham going 2-0 up, Dover going 5-2 up, Wrexham going 4-5 down, and then the added time. So it wasn't one of these games where there was to and fro from goal to goal. There was chunks of the game. And I've seen high-scoring games, I've seen bizarre games, I've seen dreadful games, I've seen all sorts of games, but I simply haven't seen anything like that. And that was my day. I spoke to Phil Parkinson afterwards. He was a man with sort of footballing shell shock. He didn't know. He said, I've dealt with him before. He's a very articulate, very intelligent man. He hadn't got a clue what to say, any more than I'd got a clue what to ask him. It was an extraordinary inarticulation of minds. And that was my day. Then I wrote up something which hopefully was as coherent as I could manage based on knowing what the ending to this thing was. And that's it. Then I went home, drove home for 4 hours, still heart bursting and beating. What an afternoon.
People looking at it from the outside without in the difference in these two teams in the division and the expectancy before the game would be looking at the 200 to 1 and saying, I'm not going to back that. Well, why would I back Wrexham to win this game at 200 to 1? There's hardly any time left and they've got to score 4 goals to turn this around. As those goals go in, they sort of meet the time expectation of the game. It's ticking away. So those 200 to 1 odds sort of stay there because they still need sort of 2 goals as the injury time ball goes up. And then you see, obviously, the most ridiculous turnaround where 11 goals in that game, as you will know, there's not been that many goals at the racecourse this season at all. You know, what is it? It suddenly comes in as about 28% of the goals that have been scored at the ground that season in the division.
People talking about how they still feel excited and emotional listening to it, even though they know exactly what's going to happen, which is inexplicable, but also deeply understandable. Wow, what a day.
But in terms of the character to come back at 5-2 down and win a game 6-5, doesn't matter who it's against, that's not easy. So you've got to give the lads enormous credit. The way we responded to what was a bizarre, shall we say, not just the start of the second half, but after going 2-0 up and we were cruising in the game, to then concede 5 goals, you know, you just could not legislate for that.
In the background, you can hear Neil and Andy just laughing, just hysterically laughing. That clip, when I hear it, when I get back home, I think the club might be interested in this. That's the sort of stuff you stick on social media, some twit screaming a lot. But actually, ironically, I sent it to the club because I loved what came next. I'm there screaming, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then straight after that, Andy somehow has recovered himself to say in as deadpan a voice as he can muster for the occasion, just in case you're wondering, Wrexham have scored. I thought that was brilliant the way he did that. And if I'm honest, that was what I was sort of thinking people would latch onto with that video clip. I just loved it. It went out, and it was actually just me screaming that I was latched onto. Tells you something about social media.
Yeah, I thought it was quite a good, just going mad at the goal, and I just thought, oh, we haven't actually described what's happened here. All we've got is graphics of it. Is Mark enjoying the goal. What we really need to start to explain what's happened, and we scored. And it was well timed. It's just unfortunate that a bit's been chopped off from it all, but that's the way it is, isn't it? Yeah.
And I have a very weird evening where FIFA retweets me, and I end up having 250,000 people listening to me screaming and getting overexcited. FIFA's social media guy, whoever it was, actually starts replying when I reply to the thread, but stops abruptly when I offer to host the World Cup draw in Qatar for them on Friday. Maybe I pushed my luck too far too soon.
A game I'll never see like it ever again. I've never seen it before in my life.
Listen, it was a great game and everyone enjoyed it. You obviously come out on top.
It's mad. You'll probably never see a game like that. I'll probably never ever be involved in a game like that again.
Yeah.
And it's just one of them that's just going to live in the memory, innit? I think for everybody.
We sort of didn't want to leave. It's just sort of amazing and brilliant to share it with people. We were up in the press box for ages afterwards. And then my last thing I did when leaving the ground was chat to Geraint Parry, who's just standing in the car park. And we had a little chat about it. We're old warriors, we've both seen a few, but not like that. And I finally go home thinking, you go through a lot watching a football team, but there are just those occasional times when it's all so much more than worthwhile.
My wife says she can tell what the score is by just looking at me, and she knows when we've won or lost. And so yeah, she knew we won on that day. That's for sure.
Just first thing I woke up on Sunday morning, I scratched my head straight away, thinking, did that really happen yesterday? Like thousands of other people probably as well, just nuts.
But it's funny because I was so enthralled in your commentary that you probably, I don't know whether you noticed, but I didn't send any tweets whatsoever because I was concentrating on the game, thinking of it, and I didn't send no tweets, which was unusual, right? But yeah, it was quite an experience, and I want to thank you personally for doing that for me, because without you guys being on the other end and explaining what was happening and having that emotion, I wouldn't have got so emotional, listening to her as well. So I want to thank you personally as well.
It was a real fantastic day and fantastic occasion. It's going to be something we're going to be talking about for years and years to come. And what a treat it is to be a Wrexham fan right now.
And I didn't bother going to it.
Raise the weather away, flip the dive away.